The 2027 Mercedes-Benz G63 is still a brick, and that is the whole point. In a world where every SUV is trying to look like a coupe, Mercedes kept the G-Wagon exactly the same shape it has had since 1979. It is boxy, it is loud, and it still turns more heads than cars that cost twice as much. But under that iconic body, the 2027 G63 has been updated in every way that actually matters. It is faster, more efficient, more comfortable, and somehow even more G63 than before. The biggest news is what is under the hood. Mercedes has officially retired the V8-only era. The 2027 G63 uses a 4.0-litre twin-turbo V8. But now it is paired with a 48-volt mild hybrid system and an electric motor integrated into the transmission. Mercedes calls it G63e Performance Lite. Total output is 603 horsepower and 850 Newton-meters of torque. That is 20 horsepower more than the old G63. And the electric motor adds instant torque right off the line. 0 to 100 km/h now happens in 4.1 seconds. For a 2.7-ton box on wheels, that is ridiculous. The 9-speed automatic is still here, but it has been retuned for quicker shifts and smoother low-speed driving. Fuel economy also improves. Mercedes claims about 11.2 liters per 100 kilometers combined, which is roughly 15% better than before thanks to cylinder deactivation and the mild hybrid coasting. It still sounds like a G63. Mercedes tuned the exhaust so you get the deep V8 rumble on startup and the crackles on overrun. But in comfort mode it can go quiet. In Sport Plus and the new Beast mode, it is as antisocial as ever. And yes, you still get the signature side exit exhausts. On the outside, Mercedes did not mess with success. The 2027 G63 gets a slightly revised front bumper with bigger air intakes, new matrix LED headlights with the classic round design, and updated taillights. The grille is now a little wider and has more chrome. You also get new 20-inch and 22-inch wheel options, and 3 new colors including Manufacture Alpine Grey and Moonlight White Magno. The fender flares are still wide, the door still closes with that iconic thunk, and the spare wheel on the back is still mandatory. It is still 4,675 mm long and 1,984 mm wide. It does not fit in small parking spots, and it was never meant to. Inside is where the 2027 model feels most different. The dash is now fully digital with the latest MBUX system on two 12.3-inch screens. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard, and Mercedes has finally made the system fast. There are still physical buttons for the diff locks on the center console, because G-Class owners actually use them. The materials are next level. Nappa leather, open pore wood, and metal trim come standard. The new Supreme White interior option looks incredible with the black exterior. Rear seat space is still tight for a car this big, but you now get heated and cooled seats in the back, plus the new MBUX rear tablet for climate and media. The Burmester 3D sound system is also standard, and it is one of the best in any SUV. Driving the G63 is always a contradiction. It rides on a body-on-frame chassis with 3 locking differentials, but it handles corners like a much smaller car thanks to the adaptive suspension and active roll stabilization. The new system scans the road and firms up or softens each corner in milliseconds. Around town it is surprisingly comfortable. On the highway it is stable at 180 km per hour even though it has the aerodynamics of a shed. Off-road, it is still a monster. The low range, 700 mm wading depth, and 100% lockable diffs mean it will go places no Range Rover or Defender owner will ever try. The new G-turn and G-steering functions are still here on certain surfaces, and they never get old. Technology is also upgraded. Every 2027 G63 gets Distronic Adaptive Cruise, Lane Keep Assist, and a new off-road cockpit that shows pitch, roll, and tire pressure in real time. There is also a 360 camera with a transparent hood view so you can see exactly where your wheels are on rocks. Mercedes added a new comfort off-road mode that softens the suspension even more for long desert drives. Pricing starts at about $193,000 in the US before options. A fully loaded manufacturer model will easily pass $230,000. That puts it against the Range Rover SV, Lamborghini Urus, and BMW XM. But none of those have the history or the presence of the G63. People don't buy this for value. They buy it because nothing else looks or feels like it. There are compromises. The fuel tank is still only 100 liters. So range is about 550 kilometers. The interior is not as spacious as an GLS, and if you care about subtlety, this is the least subtle car you can buy. But that is not why you get a G63. After driving it for 500 kilometers on road, trail, and highway, the verdict is simple. The 2027 Mercedes-Benz G63 proves you don't need to change the recipe to make it better. Mercedes kept the soul, added hybrid power, and made it more livable every day. It is still impractical, still expensive, and still completely irresistible. If you want a luxury SUV that can do everything, buy something else. If you want a luxury SUV that makes you feel something every time you start it, the 2027 G63 is still the king. So, would you take the new hybrid G63 or wait for the full electric G580? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to see it drag race the Urus, subscribe because we are testing that next.